Hello there, once again you're welcome to the studios of Frontline TV, where you'll be listening to so many of the leading stories from our Nigerian newspapers nationwide. Today we're going to start off with the Nation newspaper. The leading stories in front of the Nation newspaper is Electoral Act 2026 goes into effect. And there you can see the picture of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, signing the electoral law, or shall I say the electoral acts, whichever one you choose. And also there's a small caption there that says President signs reworked bill. INEC gets leeway to review election timetable. Elections can now hold in January. The top part of the Nation newspaper, failure to protect investors, deterring FDI, says Townley Johnson. And also APC holds world congresses nationwide. DSS arrest El-Rufai after release by EFCC. JAMB registers over 1.5 million for 2026 UTME. And also there's another portion of the highlights where mandatory e-transmission of results, IREV now legal, and also INEC notification date cut to 300 days. Parties can pick candidates through direct or consensus process, and also statutory codification of beavers, strengthening of sanctions for coalition infractions. And also the bottom part of the Nation newspaper says ex-UN chief orders to lead $2 billion Nigerian mining finance group. Those are the leading stories. And before I move over to the next newspaper, there's another one that has to do with mining tragedy. Alake orders closure of site, dispatches investigators. And also EOOK's direct remittance of oil and gas review. Moving over to the next newspaper for today, we'll be sampling the headlines of the Leadership newspaper. The Leadership newspaper leading story says, Tinubu, why I signed electoral reform bill into law. It's a missed opportunity for reform, says Yaga Africa. FCT Minister Wike hails presidential assent to bill. Top part of the Leadership newspaper, Ramadan. Jigawa, Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara reduce working hours, and also 37 die from gas inhalation at a plateau mining site. And also institutional failures may engender FDI, says Townley Johnson, as he warns the federal government. After shareholders' approval, Unity Polaris banks conclude merger. And also FCT elections, INEC deploys upgraded beavers, accredited 700 journalists, 89 domestic, and also foreign observers. The bottom part of it, Tinubu stops NNPCL's deduction of oil exploration management fees. The last story that will be taken from the front of the Leadership newspaper is the one that has to do with El-Rufai rearrested after EFCC release. The Punch newspaper is next. Leading story from the Punch newspaper, Electoral Act 2026. Tinubu defends assent, opposition raises hell. PDP, LP raise red flags. Tinubu defies protest as APC predicts credible poll. Top part of it says ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC release. FCT poll, 3,345 BFAS deployed, movement restricted. FX for business travels soared by 366% to $672 million. And there you have the picture of the president of Nigeria still, Tinubu, and also together with the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin. They're all there. That's when the president was signing one of the documents into law that has to do with the electoral bill. On widow, late Nigerian boxer's family clash over estate. 2 killed in Ondo APC bloody Congress. Last but not the least, Ramadan Lent, Tinubu Atiku governors preach unity. All right. That's it from the Punch newspaper. Now we're going to move over to the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent newspaper has as its leading story, very boldly written there, Tinubu urges Nigerians to believe in electoral process, says results are finalized by people, not computers. Charges INEC to avoid glitches in 2027 polls, signs 2026 electoral amendment bill into law, Akpabio says amendments reflect yearnings of Nigerians and also new law will reduce manipulation during coalition. Top part of the Daily Independent newspaper, 37 miners dead, 25 hospitalized over gas poisoning on Plateau. And also Tinubu orders oil revenues sent straight to Federation account, says Lent and Ramadan season signifies belief in one God. Ondo APC Congress turns bloody, 4 killed, many injured. Electoral Act amendment, treacherous betrayal of Nigerians, says PDP. Lagos attacks 66% TB detection gap with new community lab push. And also Ogun government warns against roadside training after fatal auto crash. There you have the picture of the president and also the president of the Senate with other national officers during an event there in Abuja, and that is the much that we're going to look at from the front of the Daily Independent. The Daily, shall I say, the Nigerian Tribune is going to be next after the Daily Independent. The Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu signs Electoral Act 2026, says our laws must grow with experience. New law alters INEC February date for Presidential and National Assembly election. Presidential and National Assembly poll to hold in January 2027, says Abbas. Our inputs were painstaking, thorough, says Akpabio. And also amended Electoral Act may undermine transparency. Ex-INEC director. 2 killed during Ondo APC World Congress. And also Owo Church attack. Witness tells court how cell phones analyst implicated alleged attackers. Tinubu signs executive order for direct remittance of oil, gas revenue to Federation account. And also, I have my eyes on Ogun 2027, says Lemo, ex-CBN deputy. The Guardian newspaper is next. The Guardian is going to guide us so that we'll be able to know what it carries on the front line, or shall I say in front of it. 2027 credibility battle shifts to INEC as Tinubu signs Amendment Electoral Act. Also, Gencos reject NLC's extortion claims, says sector battling 6 trillion naira unpaid bills. Tinubu orders NNPC to remit oil revenue to FAAC as rig count stagnates. And also, telcos reject objection to e-result transmission, insist on national coverage. Also, FCT polls, INEC pledges e-transmission of results. Mixed reactions, protest, trail Delta APC World Congress. And also IPAC, Obi, flay police clampdown, tear gas of protesters at National Assembly. And also Holy Month. Tinubu, Obi urge spiritual reflection, commitment to shared humanity. That's the much that I'm going to take from the Guardian newspaper. Now we're going to move over to the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is all set for second Niger Delta Games Edo 2026. That one's coming up from the 20th to the 27th of February 2026. Tinubu signs executive order to end NNPC's 30% oil revenue cuts. Failure of institutions deterring FDI in Nigeria, says Townley Johnson. And that's just the few leading stories in front of the Nigerian newspaper called the Vanguard newspaper. Whether you have it, you can rush over to any of the newspaper stands to obtain a copy of any of the newspapers that will be of your own interest. And don't forget, you can also comment and also share whatever it is that you have watched here on Frontline TV, which is newspaper headlines. Thanks for watching. Do have a great day. Bye for now.